Return to Atalan, written by Richard Brewin, narrated by John Delino Ziegler, Jr. Chapter 1. Isla took a sip of her lemonade as she lay on a beach towel, enjoying the afternoon sun, whilst generic pop music blasted out of her phone speaker. Unfortunately for her, she wasn't on a beach somewhere listening to the sea crashing against the rocks, but instead sunbathing in her back garden. Apart from the singing of the birds, the only sound she could hear was that of the traffic from a nearby road. "Isla!" called her mum from the kitchen. "Yeah," replied Isla, without even turning her head to look at where the voice had come from. "I've got a conference call for the next few hours, so I will be in the office. If you want a snack, help yourself," shouted her mum through the open kitchen window. "Okay," answered Isla. She was far more interested in selecting another similar-sounding pop song and checking to see if any of her friends were online than paying much attention to her mum. It was the start of the summer holidays, and Isla was already a little bit bored. Many of her friends had already gone away for their summer breaks or were in holiday clubs run by her school. Isla was currently at home with her parents, as both of their jobs allowed them to work from here. Today, her mom was at home while her dad had left early to go to a meeting somewhere. He had told Isla where he was going, but like many 11-year-olds, she hadn't paid much attention. In a few days, Isla would be going to her grandma's to spend a week there as she did every summer, and then she would be getting on a plane and jetting off to some unpronounceable Spanish resort for the James family holiday that she was very excited about. Her holidays with her parents were always great fun, and she had many fond memories of previous trips away. As Isla lay on the beach towel humming away to one of her favorite songs, she thought back to her last trip to her grandma's during the school holidays. It had been just over a year since she had found the magical book which had transported her to the far-off land of Atalan for the adventure of a lifetime. Most days, she would think back to her time spent with Oliver and Farty Bubble, the two Unkerdunkies who had helped her in her quest to get back home. She really missed those two, along with Fizbit the Troll and Wally the Wizard, and often wondered what they were up to now. On her return to Earth, she had decided not to tell her grandma or her parents about her Atalan adventures, and had kept it a secret from everyone, except her best friend Ellie, who she had made Pinky swear that she would never tell a soul about it. Isla had asked her grandma if she could keep the book she had found in the bric-a-brac box, and it now stood on her shelf in her bedroom, the lock safely fastened and the ornate goblin key stashed away in her jewelry box. At times, Isla had contemplated opening the book, but the thought of getting stranded back on Atalan and away from her family was enough to mean that the book had remained shut to this day. She had the book, she had her memories, and she even had a video on her phone of a pair of buzzigons flying through the sky to remind her of her time there. As Isla sunbathed in the privacy of her garden, she heard a rustling coming from the bushes at the bottom of the lawn. At first, she thought it was just birds, as they often had sparrows and robins in the garden, but as she listened, the rustling grew louder, and whatever was causing it sounded much larger than a bird. Maybe a squirrel, she thought, as she sat up to take a better look. As she did so, she noticed the leaves that had fallen from the trees and had covered the bottom of the garden were now being whipped up into the air and were swirling around, almost as if a mini typhoon was blowing through. How strange, Isla thought, since there wasn't a cloud in the sky and she couldn't feel any breeze herself. As she continued to watch, she noticed a white light appear. At first, it was only small, as if the sun's rays were bouncing off a hidden mirror somewhere. But then the light started to get bigger and bigger and bigger until it engulfed the entire bottom half of the garden. Isla grabbed her phone and got to her feet. She wasn't sure what was going on, but whatever it was starting to freak her out.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?